is. All right. Point number 3, surrender. In Ephesians chapter 5, it says, submitting to one another out of reverence to Christ. So it's not just worshiping through praise and thanksgiving, it's also submitting to one another because of your submission to Christ. I want to talk to you about submitting to Christ. To be filled with the Spirit, to walk in the Spirit, to live by the Spirit is actually, right, we talked about it, it means to be controlled by Christ, to be submitted to Christ. So I have 3 ways you can remember this. First is the white flag. Second is open hands. And third is saying yes to God. Right? If you're in a battle in the military and you raise up that white flag, what does that mean? It means you give up, right? You surrender. You're on your knees with the white flag. You're saying, don't kill me. I don't want to die. So I'm raising up the flag and I'm saying, whatever, if you want to take me as a prisoner of war, I'd rather have that than die. You're basically saying, I give up my rights and we can't win this battle. See, that's how we have to live in relationship with God. Instead of fighting against God and doing what we want, we need to raise up the white flag every day and say, I surrender, God. I submit to you. I'm raising up the white flag saying, God, you take over. You control my life. So the white flag. Second is having open hands to God. Open hands implies being willing to do whatever God wants you to do. I could tell you story after story of when oftentimes the Spirit's going to lead you to do things you do not want to do, right? But it's an open hand posture to God. It's instead of having closed fists and saying, God, I want to do what I want, it's having open hands and saying, God, you lead me, right? You can't follow God if you're like this, holding on to things. Number 3 is saying yes. The simple word of having a yes response to God. If God's telling you to do something, say yes. Yes, Lord. Yes, Lord, I will obey you. Saying yes to God is important. So having the white flag, having open hands, and giving God your yes, being ready to respond, being sensitive to the Spirit is having that posture of surrender. Laying down your life like Jesus in the Garden of Gethsemane when he was saying, Lord, I don't want to take this cup from me. I don't want to I don't want to have to experience this, but nevertheless, not my will, but your will be done. That was an example for us of walking in the Spirit.